Online maths tutorials with Smart Tuition.
Guys, today I'm going to be teaching you how to answer questions on quadratic sequences. Okay, the quadratic nth term is worth at least 3 or 4 marks in your GCSE paper. It's one of the questions that has been asked most years, and it could be posed to you in both your calculator or your non-calculator paper. It's a grade 9 in the GCSE maths paper. Now, just because it's grade 9, it doesn't mean that it's incredibly difficult to work out. I personally think it's a grade 9 just because there's so many steps towards getting to the final answer. But the maths itself isn't that difficult. It just requires you to have to put a bit of effort into memorizing the different stages and the different formulas that make up the question. Okay, so let's go straight on to an example. And the first example is 9, 13, 19, and 27. Okay, so what I like to do is refer to these numbers here as my terms. Okay, now with the terms that have been given to us, this is a very typical question in your GCSE paper. There's no word problems here, guys. Rather, they're just going to give you some numbers and they're going to ask you to work out what the nth term is. Okay, so what I'm going to do is start off by recognizing, okay, I've got my terms. Let's start off by working out what the first difference is. The first difference between these two numbers, well, between these numbers are 4, 6, and 8. So let's just label this our first difference. Now, after finding your first difference, you need to find out what the second difference is. Okay, so the second difference here is 2. And again, let's label that our second difference. Now, what you've noticed about your second difference is that it's the same. Okay, I've got 2 here, guys, and for both these numbers here, I've got 2. Okay, so because the second difference is the same, that tells me that I've got something which is quadratic. Now, because it's quadratic, I'm going to write down the formula an squared plus bn plus c. Okay, now what you have to do is work out the value of a, b, and c. Now, for you to work out the values of a, b, and c, you need to memorize 3 equations, guys. Okay, and those 3 are, for a, 2a equals the second difference. For b, it is 3a plus b equals the second term minus the first term. And finally, for c, it's a plus b plus c equals the first term. Now, these are generic formulas, guys. All that happens is, well, on every single occasion, you're simply going to enter numbers into these formulas. But these always remain the same. Okay, so you have to memorize these, and you must memorize exactly, what makes each part. And let's just get straight on to practicing them, and hopefully it'll make sense to you exactly what I've done. Okay, so to work out the value of a, the formula is 2a is equal to the second difference. So 2a is always equal to my second difference. The second difference in this example here is 2. So if 2a is equal to 2, the a is equal to 1. Okay, now to work out b, it's 3a plus b is the second term minus the first term. So the 3a plus b is always going to be equal to that number there. The second term minus the first term. Now the value of a is 1. So what I'm going to do is substitute a into this equation. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 plus b is equal to 4. And if we minus 3 on both sides, the b is equal to 1. Finally, for me to work out the value of c, I replace a and b with the numbers I've got here. A is equal to 1. The b is also equal to 1. Now the value of c I don't know, so c can remain as c. And that's always equal to the first term. The first term is 9. So 2 plus c is equal to 9. And if I minus 2 on both sides, the c is equal to 7. Now, I've got the values of a, b, and c. What I'm now going to do is substitute them into here. So therefore, the value of a is 1. So that gives us 1n squared. The value of b is also 1. So it's just going to be 1n. And finally, c has a value of 7. So that's my final answer, guys. N squared plus n plus 7. But what you really should do at this stage here is just check to see if the nth term works. So if I replace n with 2, I should get a final answer of 13. 2 squared is 4. Okay, 4 plus 2 is 6. And 6 plus 7 is equal to 13. It works perfectly fine. Okay. Let's try another example now. And hopefully by now, you've got a better understanding of what I've done. As I emphasize, guys, it's a grade 9 just because there's a lot of steps towards getting the final answer. But the maths itself, as you've just seen in the example, it's not particularly difficult. Okay, so I've got the numbers 5, 11, 19, 29, and 41. Okay, these are my terms. I always start off by finding the first difference. Okay, so I've got a difference here of 6, 8, 10, and 12. After identifying the first difference, find the second difference. Second difference here, guys, is 2. Now, what you've noticed about your second difference is that each number is the same. So it's quadratic. I can write down the formula an squared plus bn plus c. I now need to work out the values of a, b, and c. For me to find a, b, and c, we're going to use the 3 examples which I gave you earlier. To find the value of a is 2a is equal to the second difference. My second difference here, guys, is 2. So therefore, the a is equal to 1. To find the value of b, 3a plus b is always equal to that number there. The value of a is 1, so replace a 3a with 3 times 1, which is 3, and make it equal to b. The b has a value of 3. And finally, to find the value of c, a plus b plus c is always equal to the first term. The first term is 5. The value of a is 1. The value of b is 3 plus c is equal to 5. And now we're going to simplify that and rearrange that to make c the subject. 4 plus c is equal to 5. Therefore, the c is equal to 1. Now, just like before, let's substitute it back into an squared plus bn plus c. That's going to be 1n squared plus bn, and b has a value of 3. So that would be 3n plus c, which is equal to 1. The final answer, guys, is n squared plus 3n plus 1. As I said, guys, you know, when in the GCSE paper, there's no trick questions here. They're simply going to give you some numbers and they're going to ask you to find the nth term. And just to be on the safe side, it's always good to check your answer. So let's replace n here with 2. And if I replace n with 2, I should get a final answer of 11. So 2 squared is 4. And 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1 is equal to 11. It works perfectly fine. That's a good guaranteed 3 marks there in your GCSE higher paper. Okay, hope that helps, guys, and I'll see you all in the next video.